everybody. My name is Candace Neu, and you are watching The Neu Agenda. I am so excited to get into today's episode. We have some of my favorite things on set today. You might have seen them. Some books. I do love books. In case you did not know, I'm a little bit of an English nerd. Yes, I can tell you all 7 rules of the comma. We are not going to argue about the Oxford comma today. And I did not eat your grandma. If you didn't get that joke, it's because you are not good enough at grammar, but we're not going to have that conversation today because I might actually be put in my place because my skills are maybe rusty because instead I just talk on TV, which doesn't require much grammar. I'm not writing the captions, which is probably good. That being said, I'm super excited to bring on our guest here in a little bit, or one of our guests. I have lots of guests, obviously, but it has been a great season so far. We had a couple of weeks ago, if you've been paying attention, we had Clint Obenchain on talking about his new movie, Vengeance, which is phenomenal. Last week, we got to meet with the Albuquerque Film and Media Incubator, which is an incredible program for local producers who are really wanting to learn how to do their job really, really well. So I just want to encourage you guys to reach out to Carrie Rose O'Connell and the Incubator if you are getting ready to start up a project and need some support. It's an incredible program. Next week, we've got John Christian Love coming out to talk about some of the work he's been doing. I'll let him share some more about that, but it's definitely going to be something that if you're smart, you'll be in the live studio audience because let me tell you, he is going to be the guy that you're going to ask questions to. So come out, meet him, do a little Q&A. And so if you have some time this weekend, actually, tomorrow, August 28th, there is the Film and TV Expo that's happening, Washington Complex. So if you want more information about that, check us out on our website or look it up. There's a Facebook event post about it as well. It's a phenomenal opportunity for you guys to go out, meet all of the stage unions, and figure out what it's like to be in the industry. I'm having a hard time talking this morning, guys. Goodness. Woo! All right, so I'm going to stop talking to the camera because that kills me every day. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first guest. She is an award-winning author. She has 12 books, I believe, published. I could have that number wrong. I know that she's got something else coming out this week, and she is super excited to share about it. She's also a mom, and she did a podcast, and we're going to learn all about all the things. And I heard some weird stories off stage that I'm going to make sure and embarrass her about here in just a minute. Cindy Gunderson. Hello. Hello, darling. I'm so excited to have you on my show. So a little backstory for you guys out there in TV land that don't know this. I'm going to grab my coffee here.
Please do. Love it.
I don't want to drop it on your books. Yeah. These are her books, obviously. Like, I didn't just bring books from my house because that would be weird.
Mm-hmm. It'd be fun. It'd be fun if you brought your favorite books. That's something you could consider, a book club.
The problem, Cindy, is that I have a lot of favorite books.
Uh-huh.
We have a library at my house, which I feel like I'm on a whole. Talk about themes. I've been on a whole theme of apparently being a snob because I say these things and people in TV land are like, God, she's such a snob. And I'm like, I'm not a snob. I'm resourceful, and I don't believe that you ever throw away or give away books. Like never. Like you just keep them.
It feels horrible.
Yes. I mean, you can't even re-gift a book. I mean, you can. And sometimes if you know what, you know that somebody loves you if they give you a book from their library.
Yes.
Like not
and
if they
don't
give you
write in the front like you must return by this date, or right? You know,
right?
Like, punishable by death if you don't return this book.
Right? Like, yeah. If they give you a book, it's because you're well loved. Yes, so, friends, if you ever get a book from me,
you're loved.
You're loved.
You're special.
Unless it's like Do Better. Oh my God.
Help book?
Yes, no, my kids. Oh my God. So my kids this past Christmas, and I know some of you guys, if you pay attention, if you watch my show, then you might have heard this story once or twice. But I'm still not over. But so sometimes I do a little writing as well. And my kids for Christmas, they got me a bunch of books, which I thought was great. And I was like, you guys are so great. You're so amazing. Yes. You know your mom so well. Like, I love books, whatever. And Luke, my now 15-year-old, he, got me a book that was like, it was like, no, let's back up. Carmen got me a book about jokes.
Okay.
Which is great, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cute, because, I do this thing, and I'm supposed to, like, be
Yeah.
funny in the first 30 seconds. You saw how that went, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But she gave me this book about, how to be funny.
Yeah.
And she gave it to me, and then she explained that they got me books based on areas I needed to be better at.
Amazing.
And so I opened one that was like, basically how to be funny. I opened another one that was like writing prompts, and I was like, okay, I see you.
Great.
Okay. And then my 15-year-old Luke, how to be happy. And I was like, wow.
That's like deep.
I know. I was like, okay, I'll stop crying where you can hear me. God, like, it's a lonely life, single mom, 4 kids. Excuse me while I cry myself to sleep.
That is hilarious. I love it. Oh my goodness.
There's some, material. I was actually, I was listening to the, God, what's his name? Oh my God, now I can't think of his name. You know what? It doesn't matter. He's a famous author.
Yeah.
Last name starts with an S.
I am not helpful.
Whatever. It's not.
Sedaris?
Yes. Good God. Yes, Sedaris.
David Sedaris.
David Sedaris. I was, and he's coming into town. You guys, he's coming into town, and I'm super excited.
That's
and
amazing.
I am going to plot. David Sedaris, will you please be on my show? Like, I would be so excited to have you on my show, and yeah.
We're gonna spread this far and wide.
I know.
Yeah.
We need to spread it far and wide. So I was listening to his master class, and while I was driving across the country to go visit my dad, and he was talking about like, everything is an opportunity, like, right? Like, so he said that he feels so bad for people who don't write because, when they have something bad happen, so it's something bad happened to them.
I know.
But people who write, you can go, well, I can write about this in my book. At least I can write about it.
Comics are like sweet material.
Right.
This is amazing. I know. No, I feel the same way. Whenever I'm working on a project always, and whenever something happens, usually that little tidbit or that person that I interacted with is going to end up in the book at some point. So you kind of have to be careful when you're hanging out with writers, because it's like, oh, what did I just do that's going to be forever put in a novel? It's hilarious.
I agree with that on so many levels. And when I went out and visited my dad, and I've already told this story once. I feel bad for my people who actually watch my show religiously, because like I do repeat stories. Yeah. I do in real life too, so it's like knowing me in real life. Congratulations, you know me in real life. Probably the people who watch me do know me in real life. It's like my dad. You know? He's like, there she is talking about me on TV again.
Story again.
But I went to go visit my dad, and he was lighting the grill, and it wasn't lighting, and something, whatever. Yeah. My dad's like super genius, so I actually couldn't believe that this happened, because I just felt like it wasn't a super genius moment. Right. Sorry, Dad, I love you. The grill wouldn't light, so he finally got it to light. Yeah. But it like went boom, and so it like burned his face. It was terrible. It was terrible. Awful. But like literally an hour before that, because we had just gotten there. Yeah. I know you have a long drive today too, because you have to get some weird frisbee tournament.
It's way cooler than you just made it sound, but that's okay. I'll forgive you. Is it like? It's Ultimate Frisbee. Have you ever played Ultimate Frisbee? No? Oh my gosh! Okay,
my son told me that the best way, like the best, most terrible, like most offensive remark is to just indifference. No, to stare for 4 solid seconds. He said that it actually might make you. He's probably writing a book about it. Seriously. Yeah. But I had driven across the country to go visit my dad. I'd got into town like an hour before that, and he was excited. He was making us ribs and food, and it was great. And then he burned his face, and I mean it was bad. Like, and he had some Silverdene, so he was able to put it on like within like 30 seconds, which is the only reason why that wasn't a hospital trip. Absolutely. But I had literally just told him that I was listening to David Sedaris, and this whole story about the about how at least you could use it's funny, right? And I was like, so it's good, like whatever. And so after this happens, like, and he gets Silverdene on. He's like, hey, but it's material. You can at least you got something to write about. I was like, oh, that's terrible.
It's kind of true though.
It is. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny when you read in books these fantastical stories. You're like, this never could have happened in real life. Mm-hmm.
It does.
It happens totally in real life. Does. And that's where we get these ideas from, right? Mm-hmm. We just had an experience where we went on a trip with a family, with my husband's side of the family. There were a couple of things that happened there that I'm like, just so you guys know, this is for sure going in a book.
Absolutely.
I will change the people.
Right.
I will change the details, but it is too good. It is too
Yeah.
good not to use in some romantic comedy. It's
Yeah.
just fantastic.
No, it's great. Well, and so my problem is like, okay, so you see the thing, you write about the thing,
Yeah.
then you can revise the thing
Totally.
over and over and over and over
Yes.
and over and over because you're a good writer and
Yeah.
over and over. And
Yes.
it's in the art of revision, friends.
Yes.
Those of you writing your high school English papers, we don't want to read it. We want you to write it again. It sucks.
Exactly.
Try
And give
again.
it some time between.
Yeah, and then again, which means you have to
Yes.
pre-plan and you can't
Uh-huh.
procrastinate. But, and then you go through an editor and that gets looked at multiple times, probably by multiple people.
Yeah.
And then they make sure that nobody's going to sue you.
Uh-huh.
And then I come on TV every Monday and I just say whatever I say, and then it's just out there,
I
and
know.
it's like
It's
on
kinda
replay,
terrifying.
and it's like,
Yeah.
and it's my voice, and it's my face, and they can't even be like,
Yeah.
I don't know who said that. It's like, oh look, it's that Candace New girl, and I'm like, God, I shouldn't have said that on TV.
That should not have been what came out of my mouth.
I
Well,
know.
It's so funny though, because even though it goes through all of those revisions, it is still so terrifying to put it out in the world
Yeah.
because it's a piece of your soul, you know? And I was just talking with my son, who we're going to see a little bit later, but I was talking with him about the phase of practice.
Yeah.
Because we're all in a phase of practice.
Absolutely.
We're not there yet.
No.
And we never will be. I hope I never am.
Growth
right?
mindset, baby.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So it's so funny because what you put out last year, you're kind of horrified by it.
Oh my
a year
God.
Later, hopefully.
Like the
Because
next
you've
day,
grown.
that day,
Yes.
I like go to sleep at night and I'm like, God, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, God.
I look back at the books that I wrote and I'm like, should I rewrite all of those immediately? You know, because they're so bad now that I've grown as a writer. But the thing is that people will still connect with your imperfect efforts, and they will still
If
connect.
they connect with my commentary, I
Yes.
feel like maybe they're bad people and
Yes.
maybe I'm a bad person. Sorry.
Not yes to that. Not yes to that. No, it's not. It's just part of it. It's part of it, right? Before we create our masterpieces.
That's right.
So,
That's
I
right.
love it.
Okay, so you have published 12 novels.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because right now I have 9 published novels out,
Okay.
and then I have 2 children's series.
Right.
So those kind of, I can't remember if there's like 6 of those published right now. And then,
And that's like this one.
yeah,
This-
these are
the injured puppy, the abandoned kitten. They're
Yeah.
these cute little.
they're from growing up. My dad was a veterinarian,
Oh.
and so we took care of animals all the time growing up, and I mostly wanted to put these out for my own kids.
Yeah.
For them to hear these stories. So these are real stories of us taking care of animals. And our family fosters through our local humane society. And so it's got real animal care tips. So
Oh
when
my
kids
God.
read this, they will know
We're going
how
to talk
take
about
care.
putting this on the education channel.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Because it will
Friends.
actually be helpful for them.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple more of those coming out. There's one about birds right now that's published too.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this
Finding a
is
bird
cute.
nest, because that happens all the time.
It
and you
does.
don't know what to do with it. So that book talks about that. But yeah, so I have those children's series out. The other one is an art appreciation series for kids.
Yeah,
Teaching
and
them
that's
art
this
technique.
This is adorable. I'm glad that you brought these because I was trying to
Yeah.
like look through them on Amazon and I was like, there's
And you
no,
can only see like the first 5 pages.
it doesn't
or
even show me. It
something.
showed me the front and the back cover, and I
Oh,
was like,
dang
that is
it.
not helpful.
Yeah, I'll have to send them an email.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh my
so
God.
those have been really, really fun, and I'm trying to put more of those out. But yeah, 9 full-length novels, and then I did start to publish another series. It's an augmented reality young adult series, which I love sci-fi. It
Yes.
is my favorite. I didn't think I would ever just be a sci-fi writer. I write in a couple different genres, but that's my favorite.
Yes.
And I started to put that out there and then ended up talking with a publisher and meeting with them and kind of pitching my work, and they decided to pick up that series.
That is so exciting.
Yeah, so that's the series that's coming out at the end of this month.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
That's like in a couple days.
I know!
That is so exciting.
awesome,
Okay. Okay, so how do you write so much? Like, I mean, you have, okay, wait, pause. Okay, she's like me. She has 4 kids. They're all busy.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, so I was telling the story and then I got distracted. So you guys in TV land don't know this. I met Cindy on set for Paul's Promise, which is
Yes!
coming out in theaters October
I
21st.
know.
Watch it. It's going to be amazing because she was there with her son,
Yep.
Parker, and I was there with my son, Shiloh, who were
Yep.
playing characters in this film.
Yeah.
And it's
it
an
just won
incredible
Best
story.
Picture.
Yeah.
The Christian Worldview
That's
Award.
right. That's right.
So amazing.
Yeah, and so
Super cool.
we're really excited, anxiously awaiting our kids who were, this big, and
Yeah.
now they're like,
Taller than
yeah,
we are.
because I literally was like, my little boy was,
Yeah.
he was 4'11".
Yeah.
in that.
Oh yeah, I think Parker was around the same. I think they were about the same height when they filmed that.
Yeah, and now like Shiloh's 5'8". It's so weird. We were Clint and I were talking about this the other night too, when he was on my show, that like you like do the work and then you have to just be silent for so long, and then by the time it comes out, like it's really exciting, but like also it's like it was so long ago. You're like, I can't even remember. Like,
I'm so excited for him to see it come to fruition.
Yeah.
And but that's where we met. And it was so funny because I remember walking in and that was my first time on a set.
Really?
With my kids. Besides commercial stuff.
Yeah,
We've done commercial stuff, but it was my first time on a set with one of my kids.
That's incredible.
And it was a little nerve-wracking because you don't know exactly what to do, and you want to make sure that you're doing what they want,
right?
And that you don't make any problems for anybody. And I just remember walking in, and you were sitting on that couch when they were doing hair and makeup in like that tiny little room.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and it was just I came over and said hi, and we started talking, and it was just so nice. It was such a it just allowed me to. I'm like, okay, we're moms.
Yeah.
We have kids. I can handle this, and we'll figure it out together. And she has some experience with this, and so if I have questions, I can ask. It was just really awesome.
Yeah,
so.
No, it was great. And then you were working on a book. What were you working on? What were you working on?
I'm trying to think what I was working on then. I had already published this series.
I actually feel like it was this.
I think you're right.
I think it was this. Yes,
I think it was that one.
Because I noted when it came out, I was like, oh my God, that's the book she was working on.
That's the one. Yeah.
And what is this about? Can you give me a little brief synopsis? Okay, first of all. I saw this title and I immediately thought improv.
Of course.
Okay,
it comes
good.
From,
so I'm not crazy.
Sure. No, I have a theater background. I'm a musician. That is what it came from for sure. The way that I got the idea for this novel is I was listening to a podcast. I think it was This American Life.
Okay.
And they were talking about this, I think it was a couple with a dad. It was like her father that had dementia, and how they decided to just roll with it. Instead of trying to tell him that he was wrong and that he had all the, and they rolled with it. And it was just this really powerful story. Cut to about 5 years later, and I was meeting, through my church service, I was working with some different women that had needs in our community. And there was a woman that was older, suffering from dementia. And I was meeting with her on every other week, basically, to go out for lunch and talk and help her with some things. And that was ringing in the back of my mind. And it really helped me interact with her. And we just had this really sweet relationship for a couple of years before she passed away. And so I started writing this book after she passed because there were so many moments. And at the same time, my brother, who was low 20s, he was like 22 or something like that, was living with me. And I was finding frustrations with the difference in our generations.
Right. Oh my God. I have a now 24-year-old brother, 25-year-old brother.
Okay.
So we're got the same thing going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so at the time I was like, trying to figure out how to relate to him and how to understand where he was coming from. And for me, that's what my writing is about, is trying to understand other people, understand where their mindset is and how I can be more empathetic and compassionate. And so I just had this idea to write a book with both of those characters. Yeah. So it's a young man trying to find his way in the world and being scared and like things aren't working the way that he was hoping. And then this older octogenarian who's lonely and kind of bitter about the world. Yeah. And they end up living next to each other. And so it's their story. And that's what it's about. Yeah.
That's okay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. So how do you find the time and space to write? Being a mom of four, you have four very busy, active kids. It was your older son?
It was my second oldest that was in.
So is Parker
Thomas.
older than Landon?
No, he's younger.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, by about 18 months.
Got it. So you got two kids who are actively acting.
Yeah.
Which is busy. That makes for busy life.
Yes, and unpredictable.
Absolutely.
It's just like you have to be flexible.
It worked out though, because here you are.
I know. How amazing is that?
I know.
Right? Say yes.
I was like, it will happen. It will happen. And I know we had this conversation like a long time ago. You're like, it'll happen, and here we
totally
are.
Did.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's awesome. And then my younger two, obviously, are getting older and getting into their own things. We do a lot of theater.
Yeah. And the ages. What are the ages of all your kids right now?
So I have 16, 14, 11, and almost 9.
So I have an 11, a 13, a 15, and a 17.
Yeah, so
we're
you're
like
just a little
matching,
bit ahead. Yeah. No, I love it. And yeah, it is. It's super busy. And I remember when I first decided I wanted to try writing, because I've always loved writing, never in a million years thought I could write a book. Like that just seems impossible. But I had this idea, and my husband was super supportive and was like, you should explore this. It's obviously on your mind. You filled up a notebook with all these ideas. Like, you should just try and write it. And I had all this mom guilt. Of like, I should be spending more time with my kids. I should be baking bread. I should be like whatever, I should be like
should be baking bread. That's what I should be doing, friends. Baking bread today.
Exactly. I should be doing laundry. I mean, all those things.
Wow, see. My dad. This. Oh God, we shouldn't. No, continue. I'm
not going there. Put a pin in that.
No, because I don't want to have a snob persona, but there are things that I do that are snobby apparently. But I just think they're resourceful.
Just own it. Own it.
Because I don't do laundry.
Yeah. Okay. But
so last time I don't do. No, I take it to a service. Mm-hmm. That's terrible. But you know what? There is a very wonderful laundry service here in town, owned by a family. It's Tidy's Laundry.
Yeah.
It's like $1.07 a pound.
Yeah.
So it's super economical. When we were when I was a single mom, I was a teacher, and I couldn't. It was like we would cancel cable and not have certain things so that we could do that because it allowed me to spend more time with my kids.
That's exactly right.
And it's there are certain things that you don't have to do, and it doesn't mean that you're being snobby because you prioritize something. I mean, some people spend that much money on their cable or eating out like fast food or whatever, and it was like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna have home cooked meals, and we're gonna do this so that nobody has to worry about A, not having clean clothes because mom sucks at laundry, because I do, and B, the time, I mean, and it was just like, it just made sense to me.
Yeah, well, and I think we have to stop, this goes perfectly with what I was feeling, because we have to stop judging each other for the choices that we make, especially as women and as moms, because we have to prioritize what makes sense for us.
Right.
And we all have different gifts, and we have different weaknesses, and we have to figure out how to manage those.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I was deciding to do this, I had to figure out what I was going to give up, because we can't do everything.
Right.
I can't be writing and then also do all the things I was doing with my kids.
Like Ultimate Frisbee.
That did not go to the cutting floor.
I see that. You're very passionate about. She's like, girl, we need to get this show on the road because I have an Ultimate Frisbee tournament to get to, and I'm like,
exactly.
Girl, the boom mic is in the shot. You need to call me Tay over there.
I was not that crazy, just FYI. But yeah, it's like you have to figure out what is best for you. And so my husband, I'm lucky in the sense that I had somebody that could help me out.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that month or two when I was writing my first novel, he was doing the bedtimes. He was doing all of that stuff so that I could have that time to write. And then eventually we were like, okay, this isn't sustainable for you to always, and it's not what I want. I want to be there with my kids too. And so then we figured out a different work schedule where I could work during the day, a couple days a week.
And what were you working as? What does that look like?
So for me, what that looks like, I try to be somewhat organized in how I approach my week, because otherwise it's too much.
Yeah.
As an author, you're not only writing, but you're also marketing, and you're editing, and you're designing, and all of this other stuff, and it just becomes a lot. And so I have a spreadsheet where I'm like, on Monday, these are my administrative tasks.
Okay.
And then I have this block of time to write. And I don't always stick to it 100%, but I try to.
That's what I need to hear. Because some people are like, no, I do it every day without fail, and I'm perfect, and you suck because you can't figure out how to tie your shoes to
I really think it's like an orienting goal, right? Yeah. So even if I don't meet it 100% of the time, it's pointing me in the right direction. And when things start to feel overwhelming, I can go back to it and be like, okay, yes, I need to do this on Monday. And even if I only get 50% of it done, that's more than I would have gotten done had I not.
And
had
orienting,
that goal,
I love that. Okay,
orienting goal.
Orienting goal. I'm adding that to my list.
Yes.
This is why I have this show, because I learned. This is me growing as a person.
Yeah.
Do you do personal growth? Yeah, I interview experts every week. What do you
do? Yes. Well, and it's like you just have to practice and see what works for you.
Yeah.
And that for me works. And so that's what I try and do. So I carve out a little bit of time, and I have a couple days a week where sometimes I'll even go to the library and write because I get out of the house and then I'm not being distracted or interrupted.
Yeah.
So.
Mom.
And when you're in a story, it's like it takes you half an hour to get back in the story after you've been interrupted. And so for my writing time, that's what I try and do. But that's what it looks like. I'll kind of do my writing first and then do my administrative tasks. Some days I'm not in the mood to write yet, and I'll do my admin stuff first and then move past. And then sometimes I go down the rabbit hole and don't accomplish anything. And
so do you do that just on Mondays, or do you write just on Mondays, or do you write every day?
I write every day. I write. Okay. So I follow Stephen King's advice. Okay. I don't know if you've read any of his stuff.
No, but David Sedaris says the same thing. Write every day.
Yeah, every day. It's with anything in your life. Anything you want to be good at, if you do it consistently, you're going to, it's going to be astronomical growth. And so I try to write 2,000 words a day.
Okay. I love that you have a very specific goal.
Yep.
That's
important. It gives you something to go for. And sometimes I don't make it, and sometimes I write double that. So it just depends. And when I'm coming up on a deadline, I'm often writing more like 10,000 words a day.
Do you log it?
Yeah, I
Do you like do like a Google
Do you know
form?
what I do though?
Like
I actually, instead of logging all of those things, I log the mistakes that I make.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you? Okay.
It helps me.
Elaborate.
So I feel like if you're doing anything that's pushing you outside of your comfort zone, then you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And that's scary. And so a lot of people don't go outside of their comfort zone because they don't want to make the mistakes. So instead, I'm like, no, my mistakes are my rubric for success. So if I log my mistakes and I'm making a lot of them, that means that I'm really pushing into something I don't know how to do. And that's why I'm making those mistakes. So that's what I log.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking that it would be like a really great, because I like data. I'm kind of a data geek. And so it'd be really great to have even like a Google form.
Oh, yeah.
And to log like the date, how many minutes,
how many words you did,
and how many minutes you wrote for, and then I mean just
that
like
would be kind
so
of
that you
cool,
can kind of
actually.
see
how much faster you get, or how how much you do in a year.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. I should totally do that.
I think it'd be cool
because I do log it sometimes, but I don't have something as formal as that.
Well, I feel like a Google form is super. I do Google Forms for everything. I'm a total geek.
Yeah.
Like if I push a brand, Google is probably the brand because I definitely use all Google things.
Super functional.
And and I don't want to like give to the multi-billionaires of the world, but also I'm like, I mean, they
are making my life
easier. They did earn it, like arguably. So but even like when I'm trying to like make a decision, I'm trying to decide if I'm crazy because I worry if I'm crazy a lot.
Oh yeah, don't we all? Anyone that's in the creative world, for sure.
I worry if I'm crazy a lot, like about like social situations. I'm weird. I'm actually socially awkward.
Yeah.
I went to a film event the other night and like I got there and like I didn't know, like people knew me there, but I didn't know them, which makes me feel weird anyways.
Yes.
And I didn't want to talk to people until I had somebody with me. And I'm really bad about it. I usually have Amanda with me all the time whenever I go to a thing so that I can like hide and we can be awkward together. And but so like I will log like am I being crazy? Like is this am I interpreting this situation correctly?
Right.
So I'll log like social situations, or I'll log like, I'm sure that makes people in my life feel weird.
No, I think that's super
I'm collecting material for my book.
I think that's awesome. Whatever helps you with something that feels uncomfortable. I think that's so great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
All right. So you block out time.
Yeah.
You set a very specific goal. It's an orienting goal, which I absolutely love. Yep. That makes me feel better. Because sometimes I'm like, what, I haven't accomplished what I was. Yeah. I actually had a meltdown last week because there was a goal that I set. Yeah. And, I stepped into a new position recently. Yeah. I'm super excited. I get to, be in charge of the New Mexico Education Channel, and it's an honor. But I also like, it's a lot. Oh, yeah. And I set some very ambitious goals. And I feel like I'm getting there, but there have been some obstacles that I couldn't control that were in the way and I've just never been a person who didn't meet my goals. Like I've always been this very kind of ambitious, very driven person. And I've been told by multiple people, and probably because I'm saying this on TV, someone's going to say it to me again, that like, the powers that be are like, okay, like they're not expecting these things from you. You're expecting these things from yourself. Totally. And that's different. And I'm like, okay, that does not change that this is a goal of
that these expectations are still there for me.
I'm even worse. I'm disappointing myself. Have you met me? Like she is so judgy. God, like
she doesn't even do her own laundry. Like what?
See? That's what's gonna get taken from this. To be fair, okay, my children do their own laundry. As a mom, that's really important. The kids, you have to know how to do your own laundry. And someday when you're rich and famous, or you just have a job and can pay for your own, you can send it to a service. But for now, my dear children, do your own laundry and clean your room.
Yes.
I'll be home in an
100%.
hour. But that's terrible. See, this is terrible.
No, it's awesome. No, I love it. I think that we, as artistic people, I think there are a lot of ways in which we feel a little bit lonely in the world. I don't know if you feel that at all. Like, especially when you have all these big goals and big plans for something new that feels really scary. Sometimes it's hard to discuss that with other people when they're not in the same situation.
Well, and you don't want to speak it.
Yeah.
And then, because I never want to be a person that like just talks about big dreams. I'm actually opposed to that, right? Yeah. So I'm really bad at like talking about what I'm doing to get there, because it's like, you know, you gotta, and then be like, bam, and I did it. Here we are. You know what I mean?
I know.
And especially because part of it's like that fear of like, what if I don't get there?
I know. What if I say this and then I don't actually accomplish it? But I think that's really important too, because sometimes our goals shift and the things that we were dreaming about change. I know I had a bunch of goals for some books that I was doing or wanted to do this year, and then this publishing thing came up. And so then I was, for the first 6 months of this year, I've been wrapped up in finishing those 4 books, which I wasn't necessarily planning on finishing all 4 of those this year. But that came into my life, and I was super excited about it, and so I did it. So I put those other things on hold. Yeah. And I worry about that, too, with my readers, that I've announced to them that I'm going to be putting out, you know, these things or whatever. But people understand, they get it. And I think that they are excited for you to be exploring different things. And when you need to take a break, it's okay to take a break. Yeah. I had an experience a year or 2 ago where my whole body started freaking out with hives. Yeah. And I was just having this crazy autoimmune reaction. I had never been somebody that didn't fulfill what I said I was going to do. Yep. And that experience gave me so much empathy and compassion for people that it's not in their control. Right. Their body isn't in their control. Their life circumstances aren't in their control. And it was enlightening to me. And it gave me a lot more compassion for myself, too, when I don't meet that. Because sometimes we're not our perfect versions of ourselves. And that's okay.
You know what? I think that's super important, and I have to remind myself of that. I was going somewhere with that.
With your education channel? Oh, yeah. You're talking about that.
I don't know, but I mean, so that's exciting, and it's a great thing. And no, it was, I don't know. But anyways, so you're here for a reason. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you're not here just for my show. Yeah. I'm super excited you're here for my show. Yes. I know that you brought your kiddo with you, Landon. Yeah. And he's going to come out and be on the show, right?
Yeah, totally.
Does he know?
He's excited. He is so excited.
Good. So we're actually going to go ahead and bring out Landon Gunderson. Yes. I'm super excited to have him out. I know he's really excited. And he's giving Mom some interesting knives looking over there. So I'm wondering if she told him about this. Hey, Landon, why don't you come on out? Hello. How are you? You can sit there. You can move. You can move that. Yeah, that's great. Okay, perfect.
I'm not gonna lie. A perfect intro would have been when you were talking about mistakes. Just casually, just been like, also,
I heard you made a mistake once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the things we don't say on deprecating humor. I mean, I guess we gotta start off with a bang, right? Like with a little bit of You don't have to lean on that pillow. I mean, it's actually just decorative. I know that teenage boys don't understand that. Or do you like
No. I just like lounge around on anything. It can be
so we're gonna move that because the dirty teenage boys don't need to lounge on my pillow. They're decorative pillows. Do you have decorative items?
Yeah. This zip tie, for example.
Why? Okay, what can we like? What are we doing?
No, for real.
I need you to hold this
up.
I don't think
someone is like, why is that on there?
Can we see this closer? Do we see what's happening? Like, hold your foot up and point over that way to that camera.
Stick it right
Look
there.
What on earth are we doing? Okay, like, I'm sorry. Like, I get to be judgy right now. Like, I haven't told I'm judgmental, but like, what's up with your shoe, bro?
Well, like, every single time I wear it, every single time, everybody's just like, well, why is it on your shoe? Did you steal them? And I'm like, well, no, but
that he didn't answer the question.
I know.
I don't. I just kind of like look up and like.
Got caught? Okay.
No, but like it's just on the shoe. But yeah, it's decorative. Doesn't do anything.
Very much like the pillows, right?
Yeah.
No function.
We're drinking coffee this morning. Maybe something strong. Okay, so all right, you've got some shoes that you may might have stolen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that why are you running from the cops?
Yeah.
Is that why you're in town?
That's why we're here.
We're here for a shoot. We're here.
It's like a mugshot.
Yeah.
All right. So what have you been? Why are you here?
For an acting shoot. Sorry, I should have clarified.
Okay.
So yeah.
My understanding is you're not actually allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so you didn't want to be on the show today because you didn't know what to do because you're like, I'm not allowed to talk about it. This is kind of what I've done. Yeah. And that's that.
Yeah.
You know, so first of all, where you're at is a totally normal place. And it's also, like, right now it's really cool because it just happened.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's going to be, like, months and months. And luckily, I think this one actually is going to go a little bit faster than some of the projects
It'll
we've
be
worked
faster.
on, which is great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you don't get to talk about it. And it's super awkward.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm sure I'm just gonna forget about it.
when
like,
you
eventually.
when you finally and when it finally happens, you'll have grown so much that nobody will recognize you. So it'll actually be pointless,
I was like, no, for real.
They'll be like, was that really you?
right?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It was really fun. And I just love, I mean, I know you know because you've done this with your kids too, but it's just so cool to see them going into a new situation and having other people give them criticism.
Yeah.
Or advice or tips or whatever, and having them do well in that situation. It was really cool to watch. Just seeing him take that advice and do the best of his, work to the best of his abilities in that scenario. And it was really, really fun to watch. So it was cool as a mom to see that. He did great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that you bring up like the what you said, criticism and feedback.
It's kind of a new situation for them.
Well, and it can be kind of disheartening sometimes.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I kind of like to think of acting or anything that we go into, right?
Yeah.
As like cooking, right? So when we're cooking, we are, making the thing and then you like taste it. And if it's like maybe a little bit off, you just add a little something, right? And like nobody gets mad that you're like doing that, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to like anything else that we do, it feels like people are always like, oh, I don't want to get feedback on that. You know what I mean? Like nobody like, I mean, that's not true. I don't want to say nobody because some people do like side eye you.
Yeah.
But like in general, okay, nobody like gives you a dirty look when you add salt to your food, right?
Yes.
When you're like, that needs a little salt. It's just what I like, right?
Right. Exactly.
And you're, arguably the people that are coaching you, your director or even your acting coach or whomever, they're the chef. They're the people that are tasting the food. And I guess they're not the chef. You're the chef. But they're the people tasting the food. They're the ones that have to like the food.
Yeah.
And you're the one that has to make it to where they like it. Otherwise, they won't order your food again, right?
Yeah.
So I always like to think of it kind of like that. Like, everyone has different tastes.
It's not that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you put, a dead rat in your food, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, for the most part, or if they get salmonella, that's a problem too. Like, but for the most part, like, it's about, it's kind of a dance, you got to adjust a little bit, and it doesn't always feel great. But tell me what it was like. This is your first time being on set.
Yeah.
Tell me what it was like, without telling me anything. So tell me everything without telling me anything at all. It's a fun dance.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really cool. Just being around a lot of people that like I met someone just like casually, nonchalantly in the makeup trailer, and then I like look at their Instagram and I'm like, I just met them. And it's like it's different things like that where it's just like, oh shoot, like it feels so normal when you're in the situation,
right?
Yeah.
But then you're like, this isn't normal.
Well, and you realize that people are normal.
Yeah.
People are people.
It's just
yeah,
people.
they're just people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always think that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about acting, honestly. The two things I love most about my kids being involved in acting is that stripping away some of the romanticism and recognizing that it is a job and that it's people and that it's
work.
Teamwork. Yes.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And then the other part of it is being declined. It's like taking so much failure. I think it's great because it teaches you that you're not wrong.
Right.
It's just not the right fit yet.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Right? And just getting comfortable with that failure.
And it's the same thing when we talk about, like interpersonal relationships. Like some people you're really going to connect with, and romantic relationships, right? Like just because, like people start dating, and I have to talk, with my kids about this all the time. Like people start dating and it's like, then they're in a relationship and then they're trying to figure out how, to break up with that person instead of just acknowledging this isn't the right fit.
It's not. Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to be doing when you're dating is like figuring out, is this the right fit or not? I mean, and there are other purposes for dating. I'm not saying like you have to date for that, like to have a long term, but I'm just saying, especially when you're your age. But it's like, it's not wrong to come to same thing like with a job, or whatever. And it's interesting too, because I was thinking about this morning that like, kind of like looking through some of the things that you've done and the way that like what some of the things I've done, and we're relatively the same age and we've kind of grown up in the same sort of, and we have kind of the same, a lot of the same things going on. I was thinking about that this morning.
Yes.
And, like our parents' generation was much more like, I'm going to have a job that I go to, that I work there
for 30 years.
Yeah. And then I retire and that's, kind of what we do. but our generation is very different. And I think we were kind of the cusp of that difference,
Yes.
right? So, for a lot of people our age, they were still very scared to do the kind of things that you and I do, where we're just like, we're going to go do the things. And, but so we're kind of pioneers in that. And I recognize that being my age, because I see it in like the 30-year-olds, right? Like I'm not 30, like I'm 29. But when I look at those older people, people older than me that also have 4 children that are, we're not,
we started this party early.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Don't do math. Math doesn't work in these situations. Just imagine. Accept how old I am. But when I'm talking, like they're much more comfortable with this sort of way that we live. Yes. But people our age, when you talked about the lonely, it can be, and especially when you're striving for greatness, there's a lot of people that are okay with living this. I don't want to say like an average life, but the reason why it's called average is because the average person,
that's the life that they're living.
That's the life that they're living. Yeah. And so when we're doing some of these other things, it can feel that way, and that kind of rejection is really just feedback. It's all just feedback, right? Yeah. And I hate the term critical feedback, because it's like, well, stop it. It's just feedback. Yeah. And you got to decide where it goes, right? Yeah. Like
how that fits.
How it fits and if it fits, right? And again, you're sifting everything. So when you get those notes, if it's your director, you have to listen to it because he's the director, right? Or she. Wow, I just did.
I know you are a director.
I know, right?
Yes.
Gotta change the world, friends. We are changing it, but I gotta change myself. I'm gonna start a Michael Jackson song. No,
right?
No, sorry, nope.
Almost went there.
Almost. Maybe 20 years ago, and today we are recognized. Yeah. Okay, anyways, moving on. Moving on before all the people hate me on both sides of all the stories.
Nothing controversial.
I know. Okay, so.
I'm just chilling. Like, y'all are talking about kids and stuff like that. I'm like...
You don't have any kids?
No, exactly. I'm like, I can't talk about it.
What are you even doing with your life? Right, like what? I mean, how old are you? God, you're old enough to have kids.
Right.
No.
We don't, obviously, because we're 29.
That's right. That's right.
You're way behind.
He's like, why did you bring me here? Oh, I understand that you make music.
Yes, make is a strong word, but I'm experimenting in music.
Yes, I love that.
It's a healthy thing to be experimenting in, as opposed to like drugs.
Yeah,
that's good.
We don't talk about that part.
Something for you to talk about later, right?
Conversations.
Like shoot.
Yes.
This is going in her book. How does it feel for you that your mom's always writing a book? I love this question because I have kids.
I know, I'm really interested to hear
honestly,
the answer.
like it's kind of it's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like really? I love my mom. I love my mom. We've also been homeschooled for a lot of our lives, and so being around my mom all the time.
You actually like her, right?
I do.
Yeah,
love her a lot.
I'm like, where is this going?
I love her. But like, there are some times where I'm like, man, you've talked about mistakes and like self-help and getting better for the past 3 hours, and like
I've hammered it in.
I just want to go play Fortnite. Like I just want to go.
You still play Fortnite?
Oh, 100%. I love Fortnite. Love it so much. It's like it's one of those games where I started playing it when I was like 12 years old.
Does my face show? No, I'm sorry. I couldn't make it stop. It was like frozen and like it's like this. I was channeling my inner Luke. My 15-year-old would judge you harshly.
No, that's totally okay.
Now.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I started playing it when I was like 12.
Yeah, you're still like 12.
Then, I mean, I act like it, right?
Yeah.
But I got to the point where like I'm not playing a ton of video games anymore. And so when I want to play video games, I just want to just play.
I actually need a second opinion, so I'm gonna freeze you right there. Okay. I'm gonna invite. You know what? It is season 4. That means it's a new season, and I have a friend in the audience that you guys might know, and he makes music, or something, or well. He needs someone who makes music. Yeah. I creeped up on your information and was like, ooh, I got to bring out this person because y'all got to meet. He's also a kid-ish, right? Whatever this weird vibe we doing, right? Yes. And he has been on every season of the Neu Agenda. So I thought it was the appropriate time to bring him out for season 4. I feel like we're going to have a tradition here. Him and Clint, we're going to do the tradition. Clint's only been on twice, so he's doubly good. You guys have seen him. He's one of my favorite humans. Yung Zay. Come on out, baby. Woo! Hi, babe. Oh, my God. Are you serious?
He wanted to make an entrance.
Yeah, man, no.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Did that really happen, or are you messing with me? You're gonna tell me you're messing with me. Go sit down. Go sit down. Do you play Fortnite?
Yes, I do.
Oh God, get off my show.
Both of you out.
Isaiah, me,
I
Landon.
play Fortnite, Call of Duty, sometimes Fall Guys,
Oh yeah. We've
Rocket
heard that.
League. I play mostly everything.
See, he knows what's that.
Zay's been in a couple things too, where he had to sit here on the couch last time and be like, I can't talk about a thing. I can't talk about anything. I'm just sitting here talking about nothing but everything all at the same time. So you make music and you rap.
Yeah.
That's kind of do you see what I did? Do you see what I want
It would be
want
pretty
credit
amazing.
for what just happened
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there, Lala. I do. I'm talking to Zay's
Yeah.
mom in case you're unaware. You guys can't give me credit out there in Cameraland. But, I'm just saying, when this becomes a thing,
This
I
I'll
did
have, to,
this.
I'll have to go home. I'll have to
I
go
did
home. I'll have to
this.
make some beats and just
I
like
mean-
send them all over.
Yeah.
So, what got you interested in making music?
Just like I'm not gonna lie, I was out working for my uncle. I was nannying his kids.
You were nannying his kids.
Yeah, and I
Right.
was way too young to be
As
doing
you
that.
do.
I was no legit. Like
Right.
I was staying in a hotel for 3 days with these kids, all under the age of 10.
He's a kid.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, and
it was great. It was a great opportunity.
no, but it was
a great
like it was
job.
really really
Yeah.
stressful. And so
As
during
kids
that
are.
time, yeah,
Mhm.
I started listening to a lot of music.
He's
And-
like, I turned up the music and ignored them.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what?
Like,
you go make your own
sorry
oatmeal.
to my brother.
They're crying. He's all, nope, it's not happening.
No, just like in one headphone, whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I started listening to Post Malone a lot, and he just has calmer music.
Yeah.
And I ended up being able to go to his concert. A friend texted me out of the blue. I was like, hey, Post Malone's concert is tomorrow. I've got an extra ticket. Do you want to go? And it was like, I swear, just like the most random thing in my life. But I got to go, and it was like so cool. And after that point, I was just like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I bought a music program, Logic Pro, and just started messing around with that. And one thing led to another, and now I'm releasing stuff.
And I
That's
already
awesome.
had equipment because I recorded my audiobooks.
Right. I mean, so you
had
were
a little
set up,
studio,
right?
And he just started taking it and stealing it, and he steals my mics.
Yeah.
I
That's
do
so
feel
bad.
like that's a perk for sure of like
Yeah.
the situation.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, because like my kids use all my stuff.
Yep.
Like you guys might have heard. I know you heard, but my daughter decided she wanted to have a cooking show.
Yeah,
So like
right.
she's doing her cooking show, and she's like, yeah,
It's
we
so
cooking,
cool.
and it's just
Yes.
like, oh yeah, we have a studio. We do the thing.
Yeah.
And so it's super easy.
Yeah.
It's also super easy to know that, and if you're in Albuquerque, we have this beautiful station,
Yeah.
519, run by Windfire, and the city of Albuquerque. And you can come out here, and they will help you put up your show. And they don't charge you to do that, like it's a public service.
So cool.
So come out and put up your show.
Yeah.
Come do that, please.
Absolutely.
We need 120 hours of content a week, each channel.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yes.
You see
Wow.
why I'm having heart attacks at night. So anyway, so I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
Okay.
Isaiah, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, lately, I've been on a show.
What show? Are you allowed to talk about it?
No, I'm not.
That was like we planned it. We actually
I know,
didn't plan
weird.
that one. Me and Isaiah worked together for a super long time. So he had an audition once, and literally they asked him if he could swim. And you know what you do? You
Oh,
say
yeah.
yes.
Uh-huh.
He
The
said,
answer's yes,
his mom
always.
called me, boys got to know how to swim. So we spent literally the next 2 weeks teaching Isaiah how to swim.
Because at
my
first
It
I
was
was doggy
like, yeah.
paddling. I've been
Yeah,
doggy paddling
it was
since
crazy.
I was 4.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm used to it.
Yes. Absolutely.
And now I swim like.
Let's go.
Now
You're
you
like
just
a
got
pro,
the
right?
stroke.
Yeah, now he's got the That's not how I taught you. You should stop demonstrating how I taught you to swim. Oh my God. Good thing I don't teach swimming lessons for a living.
Maybe you should demonstrate. You know, just like.
Get a
I
pool.
think that
Get a
we
pool
should
out of it.
actually play the
You
video
just-
of Deidre teaching him how to swim. I feel like that's what we should do because there's a video.
That would be
If you guys
amazing.
want to see a fun video, then you should definitely. I'm gonna put it up, Deidre. This is like a blackmail video. Let me tell you, I'm gonna put it up.
You just did snorkeling and stuff, didn't you? Or scuba diving?
Scuba diving.
Yeah. I'm like, you've done the pool thing.
I was varsity captain of the swim team when I was in high school.
That's awesome.
I want you to know that the only reason The only thing it was required to be varsity captain was to be on swim team for all 4 years, which I was. And then we had 3 teams, and I was in charge of the C team, which is the loser team. And that was fine because, I got to say it, but I also, they didn't like me.
Yeah.
The other people didn't like me, and they were like, oh, I don't know why she gets to call herself captain.
Does
And I
that
was
go
like, because I've been here for 4 years.
Yeah, right?
You didn't have to be good, and I
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean, I wasn't bad. I got
Right.
second place a lot.
But you'd paid your dues.
I had paid my
That's right.
dues. All right, babe. So you were on a show
Yes,
that you are going to actually be allowed to talk about.
I am.
I thought so.
Really talk
You don't know? No, you don't know?
Probably not.
Okay, we're going to go with we don't know.
Play
So
it safe. Play it safe.
instead, we're just going to talk about why are you here today? You are going to have to rap. You're going to have to rap. I think that's going to be
I am not. I gotta save my vocal cords for other shows.
I told you
I can't.
we were going to talk about this other thing you were doing.
I really can't. I can't right now. No. Bye. No.
You know what?
I knew you were gonna say this.
I actually downloaded, I actually have your music. Mark,
That's why
I think we need a cue. And I'm going to make you,
mic.
oh, I need a mic. He's got a mic. Ha! He brought a mic. Ha ha. I knew you were going to, I can't say the whole thing, but I will say that there's some modeling involved. And because I know you do some of that, I'm going to make you do a little runway, and then you're going to perform. Runway and perform.
You got it, bro.
You ready?
What's
You got to take that
okay.
with you,
Gotcha.
We got
because you're going to perform.
There you go.
Okay.
Ready?
Small.
And we're going to cue some music.
Actually, this song is actually coming out soon, but I'm gonna let y'all hear a little bit. They will never let a kid up in the kitchen. Man, I swear I'm here to cook. Young so I get overlooked. Killer flow, don't book. Nah, can't hold a rook. Yeah, I mean I'm sorta good. No, I mean I'm kinda great. By any means I find a way. I'll get in the booth, just name it time and day. Better tell America this kid's got talent. Let's see what Simon say. I'll be on all kind of waves. You do your thing like Isaac Case. Me, you like night and day. You make the splash at tidal wave. Hey, yo, man, they kick the bone. Watch me spaz on them. They don't want it like bad karma, I promise. Get on my flow like math problems, I got it. Still smart, so I know the math. I live like a quarterback. To the beat, I'm a shoulder path. They asking for photographs, and now there's no going back. But you got it on your graph. And I've been working hard. Facts, you haven't noticed that. I'm giving them morning gas. I do this for more than cash. For dripping before the cast. Talk like a hovercraft. To the beat, I'm a door and dash. Taking them auto class. And whatever you giving them, yeah, we giving them more than that. Boy, I'm talking royalty. A young king, and they know it's me. I be making moves, but in the booth, they feel like home to me. Go how it's supposed to be. Show you how it's supposed to go. He's young to drop, but still deliver like he dominoes. Cause he got that love of flow. Yeah, he's so professional. Man, they hit it on the nose when they say he professional. Yeah, so dependable, that bird there, decimal. That mean that he right on point. And what's up till he make it? Let it kid up in the Yung Zay, let's get it.
Matrix on the road.
Just let 'em doubt me. Don't know about me. Just let 'em doubt me. Keep that from around me. Just let 'em doubt me. They don't know about me. Just let 'em doubt me. Keep that from around me. I don't do bad vibes. I'm not a bad guy. I don't just rap. I'm creating a platform to talk to the youth. I make so many moves you would think I can meet. I got plans to be good, but to tell you the truth, I'm more interested in how to stop the abuse. Verbally, mentally, physically. If they got hate, then it won't be a friend of me. No, I'm not into that. I don't pretend to be. I just show love. Shout out to the man up above. He take good care of his cubs. They wanna down me. I say the word, just call me a step. I cut like a cherry, or maybe wearing brown when his vision is blurry. I know I'm a shine. I'm not in a hurry. They don't about me. While they down me, hard to explain, but I'ma keep doing my thing. I'ma just let it be gutted up, pat like I'm Beverly. It's Yung Zay. I'ma do what I'ma do when you keep doing you. Do you? I'ma do what I'ma do when you can do it too. Do you? Just let 'em doubt me. Don't know about me. Just let 'em doubt me. Keep that from BOYYUNG-ZAY. Thank you.
Hey, I didn't know that song was about me. Like, that song was about me. Did you caught it?
Yeah, for sure.
That was inspired by me. That was so sweet. Because it said, you got to swim.
Yeah.
And I taught you to swim. To not drown. Let's clarify. I
Yes.
taught the kid to not drown. I was like, he's not going to drown. That's all I can say.
I mean, at least I learned how to float and swim. Because if I didn't know how to float, I'll be like,
Yeah, you were going to die.
That'd be a
That's
little
what
bit awkward on
happens.
TV.
Well, that was phenomenal, Zay. I'm super excited about your
So
growth.
cool.
I'm excited about all the things coming out as well. I'm excited to see what you spent your weekend doing. I know we can't talk about it yet, so we're going to just
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like 6 feet tall, and then be like, no, that was me. And you'll be like, no, it wasn't.
Impossible.
Impossible. Actually, you're not really that short, so like I can't really,
I know.
you know,
It's the
it
shoes.
doesn't really work.
They
Yeah.
lift.
It's the tag.
Yeah, it's the
It's
tag.
the
The
stolen
tag actually
shoes.
makes me taller.
I'm a
Stolen
little, should we
shoes.
call the cops while he's here? Like, I mean, is there like a...
I thought you already did.
Okay, that's why we're stalling, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Drug
This was an
experimentation.
incredible opportunity to just have all of you guys on my show. I really appreciate you coming out, making time in your schedule to come out and spend before you have a long drive back and play Ultimate Frisbee. Landon, I know that you didn't even know you were going to be on the show today because your mom didn't tell you, which
That's
I
how
think
we
is
roll.
awesome. And Zay, I always love having you on my show, and I love watching you grow and continue to reach for your dreams. And I'm excited for he's such a performer.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
awesome.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, I could just promote all that, like just okay.
It's fantastic. I'm taking notes.
I know.
Definitely.
But thank you guys for coming out. That's about all the time we have for today. It's time
Amazing.
for
The
a new
New
agenda.